It's time to bring it on with some of the email questions that you've sent in. So we're going to start today with Letitia, Pat. She says, Pat, was Judas predestined to betray Jesus, or was it his choice to do so? Could Judas have chosen not to betray Jesus? Would Jesus still have been sacrificed without Judas betraying him?
You know, nobody, in my opinion, is predestined to sin. Nobody is predestined to go to hell. I mean, that means that that God predestined them to go to hell. But on the other hand, it was written about in the Bible, he that broke bread with me has lifted up his heel against me. So it was already foretold that it would happen. But Judas never lost his free will. He could always have said no. He could always have said, I'm not going to betray my Lord. But there was something the devil had taken over him, and the devil entered into him,
well, in fact, he regretted what he had done after the fact, right? He regretted what he had done after the fact.
Yeah, well, that's a big deal. I mean, you know, it was too late, and he committed suicide. He'd done a horrible thing. But a lot of people sin, they regret it. I mean, you shoot somebody and you regret it when they put you in the electric chair, but nevertheless.
But you don't ask forgiveness for it.
But he wasn't predestined. So the next question is, would Jesus have died if he hadn't betrayed him? And the answer is yes. I mean, the Romans were coming after him. The leaders were coming after him. They would have caught him. He wasn't hiding any place. So what Judas did just facilitated the capture, and that's all. So, yes, he had to die. Jesus he was predestined, in a sense, to die. And he foretold his death. He said, I'm going to be turned over to the Gentiles. He knew it. All right.
Okay, this is Rhonda, who says, why do some Christians speak as if God's judgment is looming over America? Didn't Jesus take God's wrath for mankind? Even in the Old Testament, wasn't God willing to save Sodom and Gomorrah if he could find only a few righteous people? Surely God has many blood-bought children here in America. Jesus said we would receive whatever we believe, right? So shouldn't we be praying and believing for victory instead of gloom and doom?
You know, I think you made a very, very good point. I don't think that Jesus took away the judgment that is coming for a sinful world. I think it's coming. He spoke of the last days. He talked about horrible things happening. He talked about if except the Lord shortened those days, no flesh would be alive. It's going to be so terrible. So bad things are happening, and it's in the Bible, in the convulsion toward the end. But yes, here in America, we have a cadre of believing people. And I believe it's that cadre of believing people that is holding off the judgment of God on the nation. God judges sin. I mean, Jesus didn't take away the punishment of sin and rebellion. That's always there. Look what happened to Nazi Germany. I mean, they did terrible things and they paid the price for it. So your actions will always lead to consequences, always. And Jesus didn't reverse the law of reciprocity. He established it. Okay.
This is Don, who says, Dear Pat, I'm a Christian, but also a sinner. I ask God daily to change my life and turn my life around, but nothing ever changes. You always say to just ask God and he will respond. I also ask God to be healed from certain ailments, but still nothing ever happens. Am I doing something wrong? Is God punishing me? I've been asking for years with no results. I believe in God dearly.
The Bible says the devil believes and he trembles. I don't know what it is that's going on in your life. I don't know enough about you from that little brief question, but I will say this, that if you keep on sinning, you're asking God to do what you ought to do for yourself. Yeah. Oh, God, help me not to take the next drink. No, God says, you don't take the next drink. You know, I'll give you strength, but at the same time, you've got to say no. And you've got to say yes to God. And you have to make positive decisions in your life. You're not a robot. What you're saying is, I want God to manipulate my life so I'm doing the right stuff. He will give you a conscience. He'll give you a moving of His Spirit. He will give you misery, in a sense, if you don't obey Him and follow His commandments. But at the same time, He's asking you to do something yourself. You've got to do that. And if you don't, you'll keep on having these problems. All right?
This is Sheila who says, "Hi, Pat. How do I start fasting? The reason I want to fast is because I want to feel God in my heart and I want to live a Christian life. I'm 52 years of age. I know it is time for me to live as a Christian. I want to start by fasting, praying, and asking God to guide me."
How do you start? I would start with get a few cans of fruit juice and take 24 hours, and that's all you eat is some fruit juice, and do that, try them, and then another day and another day. But fasting isn't the answer to living as a Christian. God wants you to live in your heart. It's what's in your heart that's important. Do you have love in your heart? Have you forgiven those who've wronged you? Do you have compassion and mercy toward the poor and the needy? Do you love the Word? And do you love God's people? And are you out telling people about Jesus? That's what He's concerned about, is what's in your heart. But the fasting sometimes helps, but that's how I'd start, you know. One day, just drink juice, you know, and then try another day and another day.